Hi guys, welcome back to CJ's Keto Kitchen. Tonight we have another fabulous casserole, and it is going to be creamy chicken and green bean casserole. So come along with me and let's get started. As you know, green bean casserole is a very popular casserole. It's usually served around holiday time. And I had originally referenced a Taste of Home recipe that I liked, but they had added chicken to the green bean casserole. The original recipe had condensed soup, which as we know is not very low carb friendly. So I have altered this to include a simple Alfredo sauce. And of course the addition of the chicken makes it a complete meal with the added protein. But it's very simple and it utilizes store-bought ingredients and also things that you might be collecting in your pantry and in your garden. So let's go ahead and get started. So I have half a bag of just regular pork rinds, and I've just smashed them in the bag with my hands. And I am going to add them to a half a cup of bacon crumbles. That is about 8 slices if you're going to do it from strip bacon. And I have just rendered it in its own fat. And that's why I'm going to add the pork rinds at this point, because we want to give it that kind of butteriness that you would if you had buttered breadcrumbs. So I'm just going to add them in and just take my spatula and just kind of allow them to soak in that oil. And that's it for our topping. Okay, a couple of things to begin our casserole. We need to preheat our oven to 375 degrees. We're also going to need a medium-sized saucepan to do our Alfredo sauce in. We also need a 9 by 13 inch casserole dish. I'm going to be utilizing a rotisserie chicken for this casserole, and that is for a couple of reasons. Number one, a rotisserie chicken is a nice, convenient, readily available commodity for my family. It is something that we can find that is very inexpensive, and it can be utilized in multiple ways. If you do not have access to rotisserie chicken where you are at, you can absolutely use any kind of cooked chicken. I have about 2.5 pounds here. The other reason that I enjoy a rotisserie chicken, besides that the cooking part is already done for me, is that it combines both white and dark meat, and I do enjoy that. I have it in the bottom of a large bowl because I'm going to be mixing our other ingredients in this before we put it in our casserole dish. So I just have it shredded and in the bottom of my large bowl. So we need to begin our Alfredo sauce with a couple of items. I have 2 8-ounce packages of Philadelphia cream cheese that I have allowed to sit out and soften. So that's 2 8-ounce packages, or 16 ounces of cream cheese. We also need 1 cup of water and 1 cup of heavy cream. So I'm going to start by putting the softened cream cheese into the bottom of my saucepan and adding my heavy cream. And I'm just going to stir a little bit and incorporate this slightly with my whisk into the saucepan. I'm going to turn my heat on to about medium-high, or around 7 if you have a numbered burner. I'm just going to get this started, not leaving my attention from this, and I'm just going to get it warming quickly, and then I will turn my heat down as things progress. You're going to end up with some cream cheese in your whisk, but have no fear, everything will incorporate. And this is basically the lengthiest part of preparing this casserole, is doing our homemade Alfredo sauce, simply because most traditional green bean casseroles utilize condensed soup, and that has a lot of starches and fillers that aren't really conducive for the low-carb ketogenic lifestyle. So next I am going to put in my cup of water, and this is just going to further assist thinning our sauce and making it very spreadable, because that's what we're looking for, because we have quite a bit of chicken and beans to accommodate. Okay, our sauce is heating up nicely, and all the little bits of cream cheese clumping is starting to dissipate. I have turned down my heat to medium now, or about 5 if you have numbered burners, to just let everything finish incorporating and thickening up. So the next step that we are going to add to our white sauce is about 1/2 cup of cheese, and I have a combination of Parmesan and mozzarella here, but you can use whatever kind of cheese that you like. And we're just going to incorporate that, keeping our heat low until our cheese is combined. We are going to be adding more cheese to our casserole later on. I'm going to remove our sauce from the burner to the cool burner. I'm going to add some seasoning now to our cheese sauce. I have sea salt and fresh cracked pepper. I have a little bit of chili powder and flaked garlic, and a little bit of granulated garlic. You can use whatever kind of seasoning that you and your family enjoy, but we just want to impart flavor into this cheese sauce. And furthering that, you can see that it's nice and cheesy. I'm going to be adding my fresh herbs now. And once again, I'm going to be adding thyme and rosemary, but feel free to add whatever herbs you like. If you do not have fresh herbs, you can use dried herbs, of course. And I'm just going to whisk those in. Okay, so there's our completed homemade Alfredo sauce with lots of delicious flavors. And we're going to leave that for a second and start assembling our casserole. Okay, remember we have our 2.5 pounds of chicken. To our chicken, I'm going to be adding 2 cans of French cut green beans. And I have drained these well. The reason that I am choosing green beans is a couple of reasons once again. One of them is because they are a pantry staple, and I'm trying to rotate foods that we have been putting aside for difficult circumstances. And if it's not getting used at a certain amount of time, I like to rotate those and purchase new ones. So I did that with the green beans. Secondly, I happen to adore canned green beans. It harkens back to my childhood with school lunch before the advent of the food pyramid, back when they cooked with a lot of butter and things out of cans. So I just really enjoy the taste. You could, of course, use fresh if you wanted, if you can your own beans, or if you like frozen green beans, that's perfect as well. You need about, between 10 and 15 ounces of beans, well drained. So, to our beans and chicken, I am going to put in the white sauce. You could do this step in your casserole dish if you wanted to, but I prefer making sure everything is really well combined in a large bowl before I put it into my casserole, but that's just personal preference. So I'm just going to combine all of our ingredients together, coating everything well with our Alfredo sauce. Okay, because this recipe is called creamy green bean and chicken casserole, I'm going to add a little bit more cheese. So remember, we used a little bit of our 8 ounces of cheese to make our Alfredo sauce. So I'm going to be putting the rest of the cheese in here and stirring it up. So altogether you need 8 ounces of cheese. Remember, we used a little bit for our sauce, so I'm putting in the rest in here. And once again, I'm using mozzarella and Parmesan. It's simply going to make a white casserole, if you will. If you prefer yellow cheese, you can absolutely do that. Anything that you enjoy. Okay, so here is our casserole mixture. I am now going to put it into our reserved 9 by 13 inch casserole dish. And I'm just going to spread everything around. Okay, so there is our beautiful, creamy, cheesy casserole. Now, to make things even better, because everything is better with bacon, we are going to now sprinkle on the bacon bits and pork rinds that we prepared earlier, rendered in the bacon drippings. Traditionally, green bean casseroles always have some kind of crispy topping. Sometimes it's like stovetop stuffing or something like that, or crispy onions, but neither one of those are ketogenic, so I wanted to mimic this. If pork is something that you don't prefer, or it is part of your dietary restrictions, you could absolutely use a combination of grated Parmesan cheese and almond flour to mimic breadcrumbs. So I'm just going to sprinkle that evenly on top of our casserole. Remembering to get into the corners. Okay, and then to add just a little bit of extra seasoning, because it's fairly bland by itself, I'm just going to add a little bit of all-purpose seasoning on top of our breadcrumbs. Okay, so there is our casserole ready to go into the oven. Again, that's 375 degrees for 30 minutes. Okay, it's ready. It's nice and bubbly, cheesy, creamy. Now, with all casseroles, I suggest you let it sit on the countertop for at least 15 minutes. That gives everything a chance to cool back down and the sauces to solidify before trying to serve it. So I'm going to let this cool for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to serve CJ, and he can give us his impression. Hi, baby.
Hi.
It's time for another delicious casserole.
Yep, I see.
This time it is creamy chicken and green bean casserole.
Yep. Isn't that like a classic kind of, well, a green bean casserole is a classic thing.
Yep, usually for Thanksgiving and Christmas, but it doesn't usually have chicken in it. So.
Yeah. That's really good. And the fresh herbs made a big difference.
Awesome.
I can really taste I think that's rosemary I'm tasting. But, yeah, that's good. Let's see. And of course it's got bacon.
Makes everything better.
It's really creamy. The sauce, the Alfredo sauce, is really creamy and thick. And yeah, this is really good.
Good. Awesome. Great.
So, good job. I think people will like it. It was super simple to make.
And it utilizes a lot of simple foods and stuff from your pantry. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think people will like it because they can whip this up.
Yes.
It took us longer to make it just because we're trying to film it. No.
Right. Yeah, if I was just doing it without the filming, it would have taken me 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It takes me longer to get the rotisserie chicken off the carcass than it is to
actually make
this.
Yeah. So good job. Thanks. Baby. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us again tonight, you guys. We hope that you enjoy the casserole. I know that my family is going to. We hope that you will consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so that you know when our new content goes live. We upload new recipes every Sunday. We also have Keto Conversations on Wednesdays, and that's where we get together and we talk about different ketogenic topics about this lifestyle. Sometimes we have keto food unboxings. Sometimes we talk about what we eat on this journey, and also just other ketogenic topics to help each other out with this lifestyle. So definitely hit the bell so that you know when those videos go live. We are also on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. And other subscribers and viewers also post their photographs of foods that they are making and foods that we have made and that they are also enjoying. So definitely consider checking us out there. If you need any information about this recipe, macros, ingredients, recipe tips and tricks, things I learned while making this, and also CJ's taste test follow-up, that is all to be found on our blog, and that is cjsketokitchen.com. We hope that you'll come back and see us again, and until that time, stay well.